So I got to thinking, what can I do today? Yeah, I made a video this morning, my little rain video. That was kind of cool. And I got to thinking, I'm like, today would be the perfect day to wet sand. Or mess with water because Mother Nature's already given it to me. So when the world gives you lemons, you wet sand. How cool is that? What we have here is a silky smooth tailgate. It's ready for a little bit of filler and then some primer. I'm going to do a skim coat right here. I need to do a little skim coat here. There's just a few little nicks that and little dings I need to go back and skim coat. But I'm going to wait until we get drier weather. I'm going to get some decal remover and get this old Jeep decal off and then wet sand the Jeep. Get that nice and pretty. So now, I think I'm going to start wet sanding the bedside. Whenever you're sanding on anything really, wet or dry, if you're not using a sanding block and you're just trying to go after a small spot, like right here that's had some paint build up and had a little bit of rust, or even if you're doing a long panel like a bedside, you never want to just keep going in the same direction. And because what happens, your fingers will make those grooves in the finish or the primer or whatever you got going on, and you know, maybe you'll be able to see it, but it's hard to get the panel nice and flat when you don't use a sanding block. But since I really don't have one, I've got these. I'm gonna try to make into some type of a cushion block here in a second, as soon as I get this corner kind of roughed up. But you always want to sand, you do like 5 or 10 going this way, and then you want to do 5 or 10 going this way, and go, 5 or 10 going this way. And you keep cutting. So you see that V right here? You got a V. Always, the way I was taught from the hot rod shop, is you always want to cut your V. Every time there's a V, you want to break it up. That way you're sanding kind of in a circle. You're never sanding in the same spot constantly. Especially if you're not using a sanding block. It just helps keep the panel a little bit straighter versus just doing this all day, Because you can see where I've sanded. So, that's just a little tip. Imperfections in the bedside, like right here, these little scratches and these little dings, even right into this area. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time getting that stuff right, because this is just going to have wrapper liner over top of it. So it's going to cover all the top imperfections on the bedsides and the top of the tailgate. So far, thanks to the rain, I've got the bedside, the tailgate, and this back quarter part of the cab that I'm working on. I'm just basically taking it down to the factory red paint and getting it good and smooth. As I'm starting to wet sand, I'm starting to find a few little more defects, like down here in the rocker, right there in the seam. Of course, you got this dent, just some little bitty odd and end things. When I go back with my body hammers and try to get what dents out that I can, then I'll go back and skim coat. Then after I skim coat it, I'll go back on those small spots with 220 grit. And then when I get that finished, I'll go back with another wet sand, 600 grit, get everything nice and super smooth. And then that's when I'll go back and primer. Now, I'm probably not going to primer the whole Jeep, since it's got good paint on it and a lot of the surfaces are still good and protected. I'm just not gonna prime them. If I do prime it, it'll be like a very, very light coat prime. Then I'll go back and lightly wet sand that. But yeah, it's starting to look a lot better now that I get this crappy paint job or whatever somebody did to this Jeep. It's bringing it back where it's fully red. So it's yeah, turned out pretty good just with the wet sand. Pretty much got this whole side finished, and I've been slowly working on the roof, but I decided to hold off for a minute because I noticed there's some flash rust up there. I'm gonna have to wait for that to dry so I can treat that rust. But as you can see, it looks a lot better than it did. So I'm gonna go in there and have me a snack. And we all know I love snacks. As you can see, I've still got the top part of the front of the Jeep to do. Got the hood to do. And the whole other side. So I guess this could be before, after. It's kind of amazing how a little wet sanding really changes how this old Jeep looks like. So anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I'll talk to y'all after a while.